A very delightful evening. Welcome to yet another interesting day for us to be alive and thankful. It's the 21st there. Of course, November is still very much green in our memories. While some persons can wait for the December to come, others are saying, well, maybe November should wait a little bit for us to hustle more so we can take care of the expenses that, will be required of us during the festivities. Welcome to Eye on Issues, coming to you live on Spectrum Television. Of course, we're beaming live from the very beautiful city of Oyo, Akwa Ibom State, specifically on that very beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. This is where we are bringing you all of the entertainment and all of the information, of course, always keeping you up to date. Now, on the 19th of November, that was on Sunday, the world over celebrated International Men's Day. Yeah, surprise? Well, there's been a lot of conversation surrounding that, and part of this conversation centers on the theme of this year's celebration, which is Zero Suicide for Men. My name is Francis Oyima, and of course, I'm excited to be here, your anchor, taking you through. And today, to all the men the world over, we celebrate you. And of course, I'd like to encourage you to draw closer to your TV set as we will be talking the boy child, the man, and all the things that concerns our collective growth and development. We'll also be touchlighting on some of the stereotypes and, crises and pressures that men face, and then look at how we can mitigate the impact these have had on men over the years. There's some cliches or some, stereotypes and some reactions from the society that has kept many of us who are men bounded in chains, but we don't really get to see them because those chains are not physical. We're going to look into those issues and of course try the much we can within the course of Eye on Issues today to uncover those myths and of course help you as a man to speak forth for yourself and for the next man beside you. Now, it is no longer news that men are, born into some expectations from the family. The community expects men to behave in a certain way from, the boy child. When you're born, you're expected to carry yourself in certain ways. You're expected to not do certain things. And all of those things, medical experts have said, over the years has had a way of affecting the male child. And of course, that has been the reason why from the year 2000 to 2019, 2020, statistics that are available as far as data is concerned on the prevalence of suicide in Nigeria and the world over shows that there has been a steady progression from 2000 to 2019, 2020 when it comes to the percentage of men. If you put that side by side with the percentage of women who commit suicide on a yearly basis. And we're going to look at some of those statistics and of course look at how the World Health Organization, who has been very involved in issues and activism and of course creating awareness on the need for men to move away from issues and incidences that has led to the increase, say. Now, back in the year 2000, we had 2.90% of women the world over who committed suicide, while of course we had 6.80% for the men. Now, if you move up to 2001, the women folk maintained 2.90 from 2000 to 2002. The male folk, on the other hand, had 6.80 in 2000. 2001 was 6.90. It returned to 6.8 in 2002. If you follow through the progression from 2000 to 2019, you'll find out that the male has consistently been on the increase and at some point also at the decrease. But of course, the women are steadily on the decrease as it goes up from 2000 to 2019. Now, as far as Nigeria suicide rate is concerned, from 2019, it was about 3.50 at 0% increase from 2018. When you go to 2018, as at 2017, it was 3.50, a 2.78% decline from 2017. Of course, you look at the suicide rate for 2017, which was 3.60, at 2.7 decline rate from 2016. And then, of course, 2016 also had 3.070. That represents a decline rate also from 2015. So 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, there was a decline. But when you look at 2000 up until 2012, you would see that, it was fluctuating between 6.80, 6.90, 6.10, 6.30. But regardless of this trend, a lot has been said about the reason why men are going down. Let's look at some of the comments coming from WHO. It's been stated that more than 700,000 people die due to suicide every year. Now, from every suicide, there are many more people who attempt suicide, and a prior suicide attempt has been said to be an important risk factor for suicide in the general population. Of course, we also see that suicide is a global phenomenon. And of course, up to 77% of suicide occur in lower and middle income countries. Of course, Nigeria happens to be one of such countries who is among the developing countries. Now, it's also very important for us to understand that globally, the age standard rate for suicide is about 2.3 times higher in males than it is in female. Now, suicide ratio is also greater than 1. That is indicated as far as the rate of suicide between the male and the female folk is concerned. That means it's a little bit higher in low-income countries than it is in developed countries. Now, all of these staggering statistics just goes to show that the phenomenon called suicide is a global public health concern that needs to be tackled. And it is more disturbing because recently we saw Nigerian singer Adekunle Gold asking a very pertinent question: why do we have more of grandmamas than we have more of grandpapas? And it goes down to the fact that a lot of men are passing on a daily basis apart from suicide. And of course, WHO has also identified suicide as one of the world-leading causes of mortality as far as the world is concerned. It is therefore a call for awareness, a call for concern, a call for positive, intentional and deliberate actions for us to be able to curb and stem the tides of suicide, not just among men but also among women. But our focus today is going to be amongst the male folk. And of course, I will be having seasoned analysts and practitioners in the field, people who have been involved in raising awareness as far as men and issues surrounding men is concerned, joining us live on set this evening to talk about the men and issues surrounding men. Of course, we'll enjoin you to join the conversation, the social media platform, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You can also send a direct message or join the conversations with a phone number that will be on your screen. I'd like to hear, as a man, what do you think about the societal cliche that men don't cry or men shouldn't cry? What do you also feel, or have you ever been affected by comments such as all men are scum, or the other one that they say all men are cheats? So either of these three comments coming out from the society, which of these has affected or impacted you as a man negatively? We'd like to get to hear those comments and reactions coming on our social media platform. Of course, the phone lines will be open. But we'll take a short pause, and when we come back, we will be returning with our guests on set. Stay tuned. It's Eye on Issues.
seriously abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
For brilliant broadcasts and entertainment, sports on the go, and news around the world. Watch Spectrum TV on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon. Christmas season.
Glad to welcome you back. Well, we have to be thankful as men that one day has been set aside to create awareness and raise issues concerning our collective growth. I'm glad to be a man, proudly a man, and I know that you are also proud to be a man. But let's talk about those things that concerns us and those things that affect us and how we as men can help each other and, of course, help society build a better environment where men can continue to play their roles to the respective families, the community, and of course in the organized private sector and the corridors of governance. Joining me on set this evening is the team lead outreach and mobilization, the Adams Project Africa, aka TAPA, talking about Mr. Idiong Senyen Ndunobong. Good evening, welcome to Iron Issue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Felix. Thank you.
All right. Francis is the name. Francis. I know we had that mixed up, but it's okay.
So sorry about that.
No, it's all right. Welcome to Iron Issue. So, yesterday, Sunday, I know that the Adams Project Africa had a whole lot of engagement to celebrate, the International Men's Day and all of this. I'd like to first start off on the lighter note. How was the celebration and what are the activities, that you did?
Okay. First, it was both a beautiful experience and, of course, one that comes with what I would say some unpleasant surprises. Why would I say that? Because of the level of awareness. I realized that even men themselves are not even aware that from 1992, every 19th of November has been earmarked to be a day to celebrate the man on, of course, the men across the globe. So it was both surprising, an unpleasant one that men did not even know about that. But again, we went into the street of Uyo. First, I think on prior to 19, we had an event specifically for men. We call it Men's Hangout, where we, like women would do it, like young children would do it. We were there to, we went out there to, you know, have fun as men, as adults. And then again, we just need to bring back our childhood memories. You know, we play as children would do, you know, forgetting about the problems, the many issues of life, and of course, you know, the pressure, you know, because during the opener, I listened to you talk about so many things about men, the pressure, the family, you know, having to meet up with. So at that point, we told the men, please forget about all of that and be yourself. Remember those days that all you would do is wake up and ask your mommy or daddy what is there, or they would not, you don't even need to ask, they will ask you what do you want to eat, and you perhaps if there are much, you have to make choices. And again, the next Sunday we didn't have a live activity, but on Monday we went to school, an all-male school, where we talked to the boy child, because we understand that if we do not lay proper foundation for the boy child, there will be a dysfunctional man who would in turn, you know, would not know how to balance life in the future. So we had to go into one of the all-male schools in New York, and then we had a very robust engagement with the boy child in the school, and it was both rewarding and the excitement in the face of these children. And again, the school management were so excited because at some point we wanted to just make do with the men's hangout because of their own bottleneck. But at some point they hunted, or the hunter became the hunted, because the school, having known track record over time, had to at all costs wanted us to come around and talk to the boy child over there, and it was quite an awesome experience.
Okay, quite an awesome experience. So let's look at the reactions from the male, and what were the focus of conversations like? Okay,
first I had talked about how we wanted the male in, of course, in that gathering to relax, be themselves, bring back childhood memories and all of that, and so we wanted them to, you know, just let go about the pressure of life, and then see how they could live a normal life again. But one of the things we really laid emphasis at that hangout was how they could manage pressure.
Okay.
How they could manage pressure, because we realized that a lot of men out there, they just want to do everything. Especially the times that we are in now in Nigeria, it's quite critical that a typical man who used to earn 100,000, for instance, and of course, you know, the ones that are working for perhaps in some private sector, and then even for the government, we have very few persons that will be earning up to 100,000 legitimately. And then, but you find out that the problem keeps increasing, and it brings to mind this. There's a cartoon I normally see online or something. It's a salary, house rent, and all of that. So you find out that all of these things are skyrocketing, but the salary
is constant,
stunted. So you find out that the man will always want to be the man, because the society will tell him, be the man. You're not man enough. You're not doing this, whereas you are trying. So we had to encourage the man to please do the best he can. The times are critical for us, especially in Nigeria.
Okay. Now, the times are critical, all right. We know the times are critical, but just because you're being told to be a man doesn't mean you should kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself.
But we're going to talk about that. So let's start from the very first. Suicide, zero suicide has been the theme for this year's celebration. Yeah. And the statistics are staggering. It is not in the favor of men. And we cannot negate the fact that this is the reality that we have. So first question, you've talked about pressure and dealing with pressure, which of course medical experts have, you know, identified as part of the things that will help men to move away from, you know, increasing the number of those who are involved in suicide. Let's start from the basics of pressure. you've talked about the family and responsibilities and all of that. Aside from these, perceived expenditures or expenses or pressures arising from this, have there been other pressures that, you've been able to identify in your conversations with men?
Okay, yes. But it will still tie down to the family.
Okay.
One, especially for the married, if you're unfortunate to marry the wrong woman, you know that you are. They say there's a saying that when you get married to a wrong woman or to the wrong person, that the devil leaves you alone because he knows
you're already finished.
He has finished with you.
Mm.
You
and that
so,
goes both sides.
Yeah.
Goes both sides.
Yeah. So that's why I use marriage. So imagine a man now who is married to a woman who is never satisfied, who is never appreciative of the little things he does, who is never who wants more but contributes very little or nothing. So you can imagine what would be the situation of that man. So it starts with the family, especially your life partner. So if you get it right at that level, you find out that a man who is enjoying very lean income will be looking very robust. Not that he's lazy, but because there is serious, I had to use the word serious, there is serious peace at home. So that whatever amount is able to take home, they can put their head together as couple and see that they use it judiciously, and of course they maximize. And then you find out that in such homes, the productivity will be very high, regardless the income of the man, because there is joy, there is happiness, there is peace. Now another thing is how we call it. We just want to be man. You understand?
That's self-pressure.
Yes,
not the one
you just
from
want
the
to be
family.
a man. And what happened in these cases, because your friend is building, and you feel, and it may, in some instances, maybe your friend that you're older than, is building, or perhaps is driving the latest ride in town, and you're like, you see less of yourself. Oh wow, what am I really doing? So now you're putting pressure on yourself, but you care less to find out your friend's source. You may know your friend is earning 100,000, 50,000, 200,000. You may even be earning more, but you find out that your output is less than what is achieving, and then you feel, oh, you're doing less. You're less a man, without finding out your friend sources, other sources. You don't even want to know if there are things your friend does legally or illegally that gives in this very beautiful life is painting to you. And again, we do not even understand, some people do not even understand the era that we are in. The motivational speakers will say, fake it till you make it. And then so someone is trying to fake it for you, and you feel that is that person's reality. Another pressure that comes with not just the man now, but since we are talking about men,
the male child,
yes, of course,
generally,
we are in the social media age, and it's crazy. You find your friends on the social media, and perhaps apart from very close people that you already know before going on the social media, you shouldn't really take people on social media seriously, because I may come here, and then the Spectrum TV arena has some very beautiful structures, and perhaps one of the guests must have drove in with a very beautiful car, and after the show I went by and took nice pictures, and then they fly on the internet,
and I posted
and
my new car.
You understand? And then my guys out there will be like, almost see Edion saying, Edion of yesterday. What is this guy doing? In fact, what am I really doing with my life? And then the next day, I find myself in some very top echelon event, and then I am mingling with some guys. Perhaps I was not invited. I just had to stumble into that event,
You crashed.
Yeah, beautiful. And now I'm, and then the pictures came online, and then or comes online rather, and then oh wow, this guy is mingling with the elite, and you're finding yourself in perpetual depression. Whereas, if you find out, you'll be shocked that you are 2,000 times better than that guy who is faking it till he makes it. You understand? So there's a whole lot of dimension to all of these things. So the essence should be live within your means. But this doesn't mean you shouldn't shoot out. Shoot out, please.
Okay.
But live within your means and then be satisfied. With that, you'll be able to do better for yourself. And then, again, what that would do for you as a man is that you will think straight. Because you will know how to align your thoughts, know how to align your intention, your purpose, and that's what will help you to drive.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a very crazy, unconventional question at
Please
this
go
point.
ahead.
In your earlier analysis, you mentioned, you use an example of a man who is married to the wrong woman, so to say, which of course we know goes the two ways. But would you say women play a significant role in either aggravating the pressure that men experience or helping men to cope with pressure?
Okay, it's a two-way question. First, I will answer to the first part of it. Yes, they can, exacerbate the impact. I mean, the impact of pressure men go through if they're on the wrong side. I mentioned the never satisfied woman. That you will do whatever it is you do. So imagine yourself, you are married to the love of your life, not you now, but just imagine. You're married to the love of your life, and you truly love her, and you would do anything legitimately to satisfy her, to make her happy. And all she does, despite your effort, is that, bro, you're not doing anything, because our friend Felicia paints the picture that her husband treats her so well. In fact, the last trip that Felicia made with her husband to Dubai, for instance, was sponsored by Felicia. But Felicia will be telling your wife, babe, I don't know what to do with that guy. Your husband is so useless and all of that. And so when she's done with Felicia and comes back home, you find out that your wife that left the house very happy, very excited, comes back with damp. And the next moment you're trying to play with your wife, you're trying to talk to her, she's becoming all rude, and then she's talking to you anyhow, making you feel less of yourself. And you're like, babe, what is happening? Leave me. Is it not your mate that takes their wife to Dubai? Now, on the other hand, you're married to the love of your life, an angel of sorts. And today, you are able to come back home with 10,000 naira. Oh, God bless you, my king, my prince, my lord. And all of that. And you, oh, babe, let's use this 10,000 to, cook today. She said, no. 3,000 we can manage 3,000 so that we can spare 7,000 for rainy days. And the next day you go out there, perhaps you come back with nothing. Oh, baby, and then gives you a pat on the back, or this.
Looks like you're a romantic man.
No, it gives you that, a rub on the head. Hey, babe, come on, you tried today. It didn't just work out for you. Don't worry, tomorrow will be better. And you go back to sleep. Bros, tell me why you will not be happy. Tell me why you will not wake up early tomorrow to go and do better. Fully energized, with pride. Of course, if there's how you want to increase your shoulder pad, you would do that, because you
need a tailor to do that.
Beautiful. Because you have someone at home who encourages you. And in fact, you will find out that such a man will always go home before it's dark, because he's certain of where he's going back to.
Okay, now you've brought in a whole different analysis. I think we're going to take a short break because we need to hear the women we need to hear from the woman what they think and what they believe their role in the life of a man is, because all of those things, when you look at the pressure coming from a family, you look at pressure from the society, look at even the self-imposed pressure that men go through, which of course further drives men to depression, and then the suicidal thoughts comes in, and then the suicide is contemplated and carried out, all goes down to one group of people. However you look at it, from the family, from the society, men and women coexist to make those things happen. So we'll take a short time out. When we return, of course, we'll be having the project assistants of the Adams Project Africa joining us. And of course, she's a lady and she'll be bringing the female vibes to it. Stay with us.
our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Glad to welcome you back. Of course, this is IOD Issues, and we had to take a short time out just to ensure we bring the balance equation. I mean, the Bible has made it clear that God made woman out of man, and you cannot separate woman from man, neither can you separate man from woman, and these two coexist. Joining us on set is the project assistant for the Adams Project Africa. She's none other than Bitra Ibarra. Good evening, welcome to IOD Issues.
Good evening, good to be here.
Good to have you join us. So before we brought you on, Edion Sayene made a comment that women, contribute either to how men are able to cope with pressure or not feel pressured, and how men are further pressured. So I'd like to hear from you. Is this true or is this false? First off.
Okay, thank you very much. This is, I should say, 100% true.
Okay.
Okay. Because firstly, if you're a wife, I mean, you have so much to play in the life of a man to ensure that to ensure his mental well-being, most especially. So let's take, for instance, your husband is not doing too well. Maybe at the beginning stage, all was rosy, and then at some point it looks like he's no longer able to provide so much. So the approach you take will determine if all will go well in that man's life. I mean, I hear a lot of people saying the man's money is our money,
but the woman's
money is our money.
Interesting.
But personally, I don't know, maybe because of upbringing and all that, I don't see it like that. I feel it's a two-way. They should strike a balance. I mean, a man should support the woman should support the man, and then that way it just keeps going. But that doesn't mean a man should not know his responsibility.
No.
But I mean, in a situation where the man is not able to bring in so much to the table, not that the man is just being lazy, but probably because of some reason, some pressure is facing out there, you should be able to support as a woman. That's why I don't even support a woman should be idle. I don't feel you should stay without working.
Okay, now a lot of concerns you've raised. Maybe if this was a relationship thing, we would have tilted a little bit more to dealing with those issues. But let's move away from that, because we know, as far as the role of a woman is concerned, biblically, she's the helper, and for you to be able to help, it means you have a lot to offer. But let's talk about another thing, abuse. A lot of people don't believe that men get abuse, that men are being beaten by women. Yes, let's be realistic. But I like to ask, let me put it out as a question. Do you believe that men get abused? And then I'll come to you and say, do you also agree with that perception? Let's start with you.
Yes, I agree 100% that the same share of abuse that women face, the men also face it. Only that because of the society that we live in, a man should be very strong. A man should be able to take in everything. Man should not express emotions, and probably most times these men are not even ready to speak up. They don't know who to talk to. So they just bottle up everything and just keep living with it. I'll give an example. In fact, a lot of examples, but one that really got to me was there was this friend of mine who was abused as a child. A guy who was abused as a child by an older female who was more or less like, should I say not house help, but maybe just by adoption. The person was supposed to be like a sister to him, but I don't know, along the line, I don't know what happened, but the lady started abusing him, and then of course he got used to it, that even when he started secondary school, the girl kept advising him, as you're going, you're not supposed to deal with people who are your age, you should go for the older people, So, and then it got to him so much that even when he finished school, went to the university, up till date, he cannot afford to date someone who is his age or younger than him. So it must be the older. And then, of course, I think to an extent, he's still connected to that lady somehow. Is that bad? He's still connected to the lady somehow. And the lady, of course, is not ready to settle down with him because everyone already sees them as siblings, So I had to talk to him. Why not open up? Why not let at least family know about this? Say no, the whole fear of how everything is going to be handled, the whole pressure. So these abuses are there. Okay, it's everywhere, not just for the female.
Now that takes us to another conversation: stigmatization, the fear of being stigmatized. How does this play out in the lives of men when the fear of being stigmatized pushes them to a corner where the things happening further affects their mental health?
Okay, I wanted to add to what.
Okay, you can go ahead and add an answer.
Richard said,
yeah,
and then I will come to this particular. Men are abused. Men are molested. I think this is the first time I'm actually saying this publicly, beyond saying it to a group of friends. A lot of men get raped out there. I am one of such, yes, and it happened when I was quite young. It's only that something happened. I think when I got to secondary school, and then my first biology class, I think that was even my SS1. That by that time they would teach you not at the level of integrated science, but they would make it a little bit surreal,
a little bit real.
And then my mind took me back to what happened. I was like, oh wow, so this is what this girl or this lady did to me. I was very angry at that point. I wanted to take a revenge, but again I took inventory of the girl in question. I was like, she really worth it, because I realized that the life she lived afterward wasn't really. So what's the essence of going to drag her? But if I had a better understanding, I think I would have still dragged her so that people would get to learn. Because I think about that time I didn't really have a full understanding of what you went through. Yeah, I went through and I would have done. And again, do men get physically abused? Yes, there's a video I saw. Is it this morning or last night? They were speaking Yoruba in that video, where 3 women were beating one man, not because not in the movie.
Marry 3 women.
No, I learned it has to do with the sister. He was dealing with the sister, and then he did not know that they were sisters. He was trying to talk to the other one, and then they lure him into an apartment, and the whole thing escalated. Now, why did they beat him? Because on the grounds that, why would you be talking to me? You're talking to the sister. Whereas the guy is telling, can I explain? The beating that they get that guy. And guess what again? The society is supporting. Why would you want to date 3 sisters? Or 2 sisters? Whereas the young man perhaps did not know that they were siblings.
Well, in as much as we do not admit and we do not promote violence under whatever guise, I think the issue of cheating, the issue of flirting needs to also
be checked. But
yes, it needs to be checked.
I had to put that in the background while we talk about that a man too gets beaten by women.
Yeah, we know.
Tons of them. So now, on stigmatization, on how the society will look at you is what exactly is a fear of every man. Take for instance, I am bold enough to tell people out there, to tell our viewers, that I was raped as a child. But I know men that will never be comfortable saying that. How would they even believe you? Stigmatization. Wow. So this makes men to bottle up a whole lot of issues. And guess what will happen? If you're unfortunate to step on the toe of that man in same line, it may not even be the same thing. The man in question will unleash the anger that was meant for some other person on you, and then you'll be shocked because you wouldn't even know exactly what it is you've done.
So in essence, what you're saying means that men are victim of abuses in multiple ways. One, by virtue of what they've experienced, and two, by exhibiting what they've experienced in another person. Now,
because of their inability to express, and so the only way they could express themselves is by, and then you get to find out that you're only an innocent victim because someone somewhere must have hurt them, and because of the stigmatization he was afraid of, he was unable to say it out or to speak up, and he bottled the whole thing up, and it gets to escalate when eventually something gets to trigger it.
Okay, serious conversation, but let me come to you, Bita. You're the woman, the stabilizer. We need to talk to you this evening. Stigmatization, and we know how, using the instances that you've given, how it plays out in the lives of men. Can we get to a point where we do not get to stigmatize? How can we help men who are facing stigmatization, men who have gone through one horrible experience or the other? And let me narrow it down to, how can women in particular help men? Yes. Now, how can you women help the men? How would you propose women help men who have been traumatized or had one experience or the other, especially during their childhood? And Eddie was saying, I think you're not the only man. In as much as we know, a lot of people don't like speaking out. I know for a fact that as far as the media space is concerned, I've said it crystal clear. One thing you need to understand as a person is, whatever happened to you, whether you're a man or you're a woman, whatever molestations or abuses, defilement that happened, it was not your fault. Okay, so that is the first step to even dealing with that. And when you're able to liberate yourself from that mindset, then you will be able to heal from those processes. But let me come back to you, Ibarra. How can you women help us men?
Okay, I know that women have a lot of role to play concerning this, but I feel it should be the man first. You're the victim. You should be able to speak up. That is the first step. So you should be able to speak up, despite being or having the fear that you might be judged at the end of the day. You should be able to speak up, because if you speak up, is the first step to healing. And of course, as a woman, you should be able to handle this. Like, I gave an instance of a friend who actually opened up to me to speak about it. I think before now, I'm not sure I've shared this with anyone, but I at each point I kept talking to him, told him, this is not really what it should be. You should be able to talk to parents. You should be able to, I just kept advising and all of that. There's so many ways to handle it, but I mean, the fear of being judged most times make these people bottle this up. So if the man can actually open up to share his experience with you as a woman, you should be able to, beyond just talking, beyond just the advice, you should be able to help out.
All right, let's come back and wrap this up with the Adams Project in Africa. You went out to school, you talked to the younger male generation, and then of course you had a session for the older male generation. Now, going forward, I'll start with you, Bitra. What are the, since you're the project assistant, what are the things that are put in place to further engagement? Because the women folks, you women, is like literally every day is Women's Day. There's always something being celebrated for the women folk. But us is just one day. But there's a need for us to also extend. So going forward, the Adams Project Africa, what are your plans to further engage men in terms of awareness, in terms of providing maybe a counseling environment to encourage men to speak up a lot more often?
The Adams Project Africa, SAPA, we've already been doing so much in the past years. But going forward, we know we still have a lot to do in educating the men and the boy child. So basically, we need to promote mental health awareness more. We need to talk to men as often as possible that, you know, you don't just have to bottle up emotions. You don't have to store so much up. You deserve so much more. You know, you can always talk to people around you. You can talk to the women. We are here to help. You know, and then basically, we also have to create targeted campaign for the men and the boy child too, because of course we don't nurture the boy child well, tomorrow he will still turn out to be the bad man out there. Yeah. So we have to try as much as possible to also educate the boy child well, nurture them, let them know that masculinity doesn't mean, you know, being, when it comes to anger, you know, ruling and all of that, that it is okay to express emotions. It is okay to let people know how you feel and what you're going through per time.
Let me pause you.
How would you react to your man crying in front of you?
Oh my God.
Like, maybe he just comes back from work and, you know, you're like, hey, honey, welcome, at the door. And the first thing that, you know, the first reaction to honey, welcome is a loud outburst of tears. How would you react to that?
I'll just hug him and I'll let him pour out, because I know it's very, very normal, just like we ladies express emotions. See, the thing is, men feel that very strong. I know when we're planning for the hangout, men's hangout we had, you know, we said men should come with gift items for them. They're like, I mean, what that looks gayish. Why should a man give? You know? So they don't even feel it's normal to exchange gifts. They feel it's feminine. They feel no, but it shouldn't be like that.
Okay.
It should not be like that. Yeah.
All right, let me continue. Interesting. But seriously, I mean, I appreciate gifts. I mean, I think one of my most amazing moments is when a man actually, you know, gives me gift. I mean, yeah, the women will always give us the boxers and the singlets that we know. But, you know, for a man to give you a gift, man, it's not going to be boxers. It's not going to be singlet, definitely. So, but let's continue and say, going forward, you know, the Adams Project, you're based in Akwa Ibom. I'm sure you're also across the other states of the Federation. Yeah. So, Ibarra has talked about the awareness and all of that. But beyond the awareness, I think there is something that we're missing. The culture of counseling is not really there in Africa. So are there plans, are there moves to ensure that, you know, through your foundation, you're able to provide a platform where men can feel comfortable to talk?
Okay, the Adams Project, that's exactly what we are meant for. In fact, that is why you have the name or the word Adam. It's specifically for the man, for the boy. Because we understand that there's been a lot of movement for the girl, for the women. And when you raise these girls, these to responsible women, and you find out that you've so much neglected the boy, who is not a man, and the good girl who fall for, and of course, you know, they always say that good girls,
that's
good
the cliche of some sort.
That good girl falls for
bad guys. I don't know.
But that shouldn't be. Because the investment in raising a girl child to that standard, who has become a good girl, should not go to ruin by her getting involved with a bad guy. So we come up with this, and then so we are in about 26 states so far in Nigeria, and then we are across the continent. Okay. I think we're in Ghana. We are in different regions of Ghana. We are in Uganda. We are in Zimbabwe and some other African countries, and so we have a follow-up plan. We do not just engage. Once we have an engagement with whoever, we have a follow-up plan so that you are always at liberty to talk to us. And the team is carefully selected. It's not it's not an all-comer affair. It's first you must have the passion. Because you know, especially in this part of the world, everything people will think it's money In fact, people will see me now on TV. Oh, Ed Johnson was on Spectrum.
So directly you're telling us that the organization, being an NGO, it's more or less about
voluntary service. So and now, we take core professionals. So you must even as a professional, if you do not have the passion, we may not need you in our team. So we have professionals who are, passionate about the issue of the boy child. That's the first bias. You must have concern about the boy child, how we can have a better society, courtesy of how we groom the boy child. So we have follow-up plans, and in every of our activities, in every of our events, we have an inventory of people who were partakers of that event, such that our follow-up plan will be on them. And so we do not just, for instance, if you have a contact with a school, we must always go back to that school. It's not a one-off thing that we just come to your school and then we talk and that's the end. We just take beautiful pictures. No, we must come back to your school. And then you, the owner of the school, you must also help us by allowing us to, come back to your school. And away from that, we are looking forward to having more of this public engagement, because we understand that when we have this public engagement, it will become more interesting. For instance, like the men's hangout we had, imagine most of them were big guys, and they came, we spread mat on the floor, and so imagining that they are used to some tush kind of sitting on the mat and then taking banana, taking this and all of that too, and every other person that came may not have been in the same cadre with them, you understand, but at that level, all of us, we mingle as men. We shared, we share our concern. We were able to express ourselves. So we're looking forward to, taking that a top notch higher than what we had.
So a national thing, a regional thing.
So that's what we're looking at, so that these guys can come around and then freely, express themselves and talk about their issues. And that way, we will be able to, because it's something we do. We have a program. We tag the model man, and our model man do not just mean men who are top high there, very successful. But if Francis is doing well by living a good life, according to how the criteria for judgment, is living a good life, is influencing life positively, is able to build other young people, to see that they live a life worth living, you understand, is impacting the society. We will take Francis to be our model man. And what does he do? Francis will make sure that it's a cloak on him.
So it becomes a mentor to other people.
Beautiful. So we have projects like that we run, and then that way we'll see that every other person is an ambassador to the boy child.
Okay, so for lack of time, we would have loved to extend this conversation. Just 30 seconds, but your last advice, Beatrice, to the men and the women on how to cope, and then I'll go to you. 30 seconds, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, my last words. I'll just say that every man should grow to the point that they don't just bottle up emotions. They should grow to that extent that where they're able to express how they feel, where they're able to share. At least there should be one or two people that you can talk to, you're close to, And then for the women, of course, that you have a whole lot of work to do when it comes to this. So much has been handled when it comes to the female child, the girl child, and all of that, the women. But so much are yet to be done about the boy child and the men. So we have a crucial role to play as far as this is concerned. We should be able to give the support. We should be able to ensure that we reduce the pressure that these men face day after day. And most especially for the mothers, you should be able to groom the boy child well, the same way you groom the female, knowing very well that they will become the future men of tomorrow.
Interesting. All right.
Okay, I just I'll borrow the word of the president. The society, let the man breathe.
Okay.
And the men, if you're allowed to breathe, please breathe. And again, we should know that men are not scum. Thank you very much.
All right, of course, that's the size of our package. And for Eye on Issues, as a man, please do the best to take care of yourself. As a woman, support the men in your life.
Francis Oyimaide is my name, and it's been wonderful being here. Do enjoy the rest of your evening, and of course, stay tuned to Spectrum TV as we continue with the rest of our programming. From me to you is bye-bye.